good evening, everybody, and welcome to the October 12th edition of the Business Power Hour with Darren and the Music Man. In case you don't know who's who, I would be the Music Man, and that's Dimples.
Good evening, Music Man. Hey,
Dimples.
You know what I wanted to ask you?
No.
You know what's coming up in a couple of weeks?
Yes.
What is coming up?
Our birthdays.
No, that's a month away.
Well, that's a couple of weeks.
That's a month away.
What's going on?
So what's coming up? Halloween. So do you have your costume picked out?
I'm wearing it.
Oh, this is what you're gonna wear for?
I'm gonna wear
No,
it.
that's what you wear every day. You can't.
No, I don't wear this every day. I do change my clothes. No. I'm gonna go get something.
You're gonna go get something. Okay. You're gonna.
What are you gonna wear?
What about the puppy? You're gonna dress the puppy up?
No.
Why not? You got to dress the puppy up. You got to.
It would be cute to go and do. I guess. Okay. What else you want me to do? So you got me.
So how are you this week? Did you have a good week?
Yeah, a good week. I got some nice messages this week. The executive director from Long Island Cares that we did that great show for, the Stevie Wonder show, sent us a thank you note with testimonial.
Excellent.
With
Good
the
job.
requirement that for the next show, keyword there next,
Yeah.
that he would like Elton John.
Oh, excellent.
But now I think I'm going to recommend to him. We got a new show.
Now, Elton John is the same guy that actually, I don't think he ever came to Long Island because of COVID.
No, he just missed the COVID show.
We just missed the
But
COVID
he had
show,
been here
right?
2-3 times before.
Okay.
We have a new Tina Turner show.
A new Tina Turner.
Yeah, there's a young lady that I found that's been doing Tina for about 10, 12 years. And we hooked up, and we're going to be doing
Does Renee know that?
Tina probably in January. Sorry?
Does Renee know that?
Oh, yeah.
They hooked up?
Oh, yeah, she arranged it.
Oh, she did. Okay. All right. So we got a great show.
You don't want to
tonight.
take that any further?
No, I'm not going to take it any further.
Oh, all right. So
we're not even going to touch that. So we got a great show tonight. You know,
I'm so good about it.
Well, here's the thing. As you guys know, last year I went through this phase of losing weight.
Yeah, you did a great job.
And I gained some of it back. And, you know, it's that old thing is trying to keep your life balanced and your weight balanced and all these other things. And I'm always talking about life balance and that. But tonight's guest, actually, this is what he does. He helps you get life balance.
Because he eats well and he sleeps well.
He eats well and he sleeps well.
What a segue.
Let's
Whoa.
welcome Mr. Todd November.
Todd November.
Todd November, not in December, and he wasn't born in November, and
He wasn't born in
that's it.
November. And
Hey,
his name's
Todd,
not
how are
Todd.
Thank you, Darren.
Sir, what is your real name and what
My
do you
name
do?
is Todd November from eatwellsleepwell.com.
There
Okay,
you go.
so
Well, welcome.
Todd,
Thank
tell us a little bit about Eat Well, Sleep Well,
It's,
what it's all about, okay, and then what we're going to ask you is, you got into this when, and what did you do before that? And then why did you get into this?
So we're going to ask him first.
Okay, so we're going to ask him number one is, tell us a little about Eat Well, Sleep Well.
excuse me. It's all about eating, obviously, the proper foods. And what we do, it's a holistic approach to weight loss. It's a life sustainable result. It's nothing about, taking any pills or any shots or DNA or blood work. It's actually what you are, what you eat. They say, Hippocrates said, let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food. So we eat proper foods, and we use a proper protein vegetable combination and a fruit after, which is
So it's not like one of those diets where you go all meat or you go all vegetable.
Well, is it a
correct.
diet or is it a program? Or
It's
is
a
it
program to lose weight. It's a 40-day wellness and weight loss program.
So it's 40 days.
Right. So women can expect to lose 27 to 35 pounds
In 40 days?
in 40 days. Most
That's
men
great.
lose between 35 and 45. We actually had a independent double-blind placebo study that proves the efficacy of what we do actually works. It's a program that retrains the body to get into ketosis or fat burning.
Oh, well, were you heavy at any
Yeah,
one time?
I was in excess of 300 pounds. When I first got into the program, I was the general manager of a national burger chain, very overweight, very.
So you know a good burger when you eat one.
Well, definitely glad of that. I'm a chef, so I can make a great burger as well.
Okay.
But again, I started this. My journey started in 2013. Our son-in-law and daughter basically did the program right before Hurricane Sandy and did phenomenal. He is a holistic chiropractor in Belmore and Long Beach and got involved in this because he was also overweight.
Mhm.
But when I first did it, I noticed the first week my energy spiked, and I lost, I think, about 8 to 10 pounds within the first week. I was shocked. And then over the course of the 40 days, the first time I did it, I lost 41 pounds.
Question.
Okay.
Your first week, what did you eat?
Basically, steak, chicken, vegetables, all the good seafood, white fish.
Did you have eggs
lobster.
for breakfast, or did you have
Well,
meat
this
for
program,
breakfast?
you don't necessarily have breakfast. It's you only have a lunch and dinner. But what we do is we reprogram the body to understand the simplistic way we eat on the program to burn fat or ketosis. So it really is a program to
So
set
what
the body in ketosis.
what exactly is ketosis?
It's when the body then internally eats its own fat, and it
Okay.
uses that fat as caloric intake or calories. And that's where you're burning like the visceral fat that surrounds all your organs. It makes your metabolic age a lot higher than your chronological age. It should be a lot less.
Now, Dr. Atkins got real rich on this particular program, and I had done that at one time too. I enjoyed it because it was everything that I like to eat.
Well, Atkins was all protein,
Protein,
right?
Yeah,
So it was all meats, and you got rid of all the breads and
Right.
vegetables,
bacon and
all that.
eggs and all that stuff.
This
yeah.
program, you're not eating anything white. So we are
Mhm.
No.
doing nothing white. There's no white salt, which is horrible. There's no gluten. There's nothing like that. Because to be honest, everybody is gluten intolerant. They just don't know it. This country, all the wheat and stuff is all genetically modified.
So wait a second now, and this is something that's been bugging me for years and years and years. When I was a kid, and when you were a kid, and when he was a kid, you didn't hear anything about gluten,
Correct.
right? Why all of a sudden, the last 20 years, it's gluten, it's gluten this and gluten that and gluten that. And I'm sitting there going, these kids are sissies, because when we were kids, you didn't have this gluten thing,
Correct.
right? So
Yeah.
what exactly happened? You said genetically modified.
They genetically modify it so that it's not, sustainable. The
Right.
body just can't absorb it and digest it. And a lot of people don't realize it, that it really makes you, sleepy. It makes you lethargic.
Is that why we
What
get
makes
heavy
you
when we eat?
sleepy?
The gluten, because you're not exactly digesting it. You have all types of other inflammation and body symptoms that cause you to put the weight on or store fat rather than burn fat.
So your program is gluten free.
Definitely.
Okay.
My life is essentially gluten free.
So what I'm going to ask you to do right now is we're going to put the brakes on this.
Okay.
And we're going to go back before because this is going to be the main topic for the night. So we set the tone for the evening.
Mhm.
Now let's go back. You didn't wake up on the baseball field or on your backyard and say, I wanted to have a diet program. So what were you thinking about doing?
Well, I saw the success that my son-in-law and daughter had on the program.
Yeah, but
No, this is before
when
that.
you were a kid on the
Ah.
ball field, all
Well,
right.
before you got to the ball
Ball
field,
field.
what did you want to do?
What did you want to do as a kid? What was your aspiration? And then where did you end up?
Actually, it was to be a ball player because I love baseball.
Okay.
And I was very tall and skinny. And my siblings always had the weight issue. I didn't.
So you show them.
Basically, I could eat anything and not have a problem.
So you wanted to be a ball player, right? So through high school you played ball. Did you play ball in
Well,
college?
I didn't know. I didn't play ball in high school. I played ball. In high school, it was a total different thing.
Okay.
But I played ball in a younger age. I
Okay.
didn't really fulfill that dream, later on. I got involved in the family business after high school.
So what was the
was?
family business?
That was manufacturing women's apparel
Okay. So
back
you
in
got
the 70s.
so you got
You got into ladies' pants.
I've always been in ladies' clothes, but I manufactured.
So you and him
You
have a
must
lot
have
in
had a
common.
lot of friends.
So you and him have a lot in common.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you got into the family business.
Yes.
You were doing that. Now you also said you were a trained chef.
Yes.
All right.
My dream was I love cooking.
Right.
So when growing up, my mother would actually pay me $10 if I planned a meal, shopped it, cooked it, and cleaned up. So that's what I would do that a lot. And I, basically later on in life went to chef school and became an accomplished chef.
What was your specialty and what, any special?
Well, right now my specialty is I love barbecuing, or being a pit master smoking. That's to me.
Do you smoke at home?
Yes. Yeah, I just actually have a smoker being made.
Oh, you
but I
have
have
a custom smoker?
Well, yeah, it's a
Oh,
lot
okay.
smaller than the one I had when I was in the barbecue restaurant, which was briefly.
I love
Okay.
barbecue.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
me too.
you became a chef. Is that when you started gaining your weight?
Definitely, most chefs do, because
And
you
taste it.
want to taste everything.
You're tasting everything. You're trying everything.
Yeah.
And you're constantly eating.
Correct.
as
And
you-
I was eating the wrong things, and
Mhm.
now since I've been doing this, I know how I have to get my body to burn fat. So everybody eats the wrong thing in the morning. Obviously, they eat cereal, dairy, bread, muffins, bagels. It's not the perfect thing to eat in the morning. Do I want that? Yeah, I eat
What
that later
should you
on.
eat?
Protein, believe it or not. You can have eggs. I have typically leftover from dinner, whatever fish, steak.
So let me ask you this question, right? Protein is the thing you should have in the morning. I'm not an egg person. I don't like eggs. Okay. So what should I eat?
You like chicken?
I like chicken, yeah.
You
But
like
your
fish?
mind is not set to eat chicken for
Yeah,
breakfast.
yeah.
Because of the programming that everybody
course.
says,
So
this is what you're supposed to
So
have.
it goes back, right? So one of the things I do is I'll have a bowl of kashi cereal, right?
What's the liquid?
It's almond milk.
Oh, okay, that's
Okay,
better
so-
than most.
Yeah, so I'm doing that. Do you suggest, based on what we're talking about here, that I even do those type of cereals and
Not in the morning.
not in the morning?
Not in the morning.
Okay, so when should I eat the cereal? At night?
If you've had yes, but if you've had protein
Right.
first intake, because the body needs that first intake to continue to.
Okay, so now other people would say, well, I have a protein bar in the morning.
No, what's in the protein bar?
Well,
Typically,
It's sugar, right?
Correct.
Most of the time, it's
Right.
it's sugar holding all the stuff together.
Exactly.
All right, so the protein bars in the morning.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is have some kind of meat,
Definitely have some sort of protein, whether it's
Protein.
fish or meat.
right?
Your body has a natural ability to get into fat burning when you sleep. It does a lot of things when you sleep. And how do you know? Well, if you wake up in the morning and you have a dream, you've had good REM or rapid eye movement sleep, the body has the innate intelligence, A, to heal itself, and B, goes into fat burning.
Right.
So on our program and off the program for sustainable results, you should always have a protein and a vegetable
Okay.
first intake.
All right.
Now,
So
okay.
before we do that, if people want to get a hold of you and get more information about your program,
Oh.
how can they do that?
They can go right to my website, eatwellsleepwell.com. They want to call me, they can call 800-212-2612.
All right. Excellent. So
I have eggs 5 out of 7 mornings, different kinds. I like making crazy omelets.
What do you put in the omelet? Cheese.
Vegetables,
Okay, great.
cheese,
Good, good. No cheese.
sometimes bacon.
No cheese. Bacon's
cheese.
good.
Yeah, but I'm a cheese kind of
Yeah,
guy.
we all
I would rather have dairy than have anything else.
well, that's
So,
what he's saying. That's what
Here's the key.
Yeah.
First intake before 10 o'clock, you should never have dairy, fruit, or carb.
So is that the basis for the
Where do you
keto
get all
diet?
this? Where is it
Bingo.
written? Why is your conversation about this and it's proven? How did it get proven? Why is there so many contradictory ways to eat?
Well,
It's either the right way or the wrong way.
Well, that's true, but the purpose or what we do is we retrain, we reprogram, and we repair the metabolism to do one thing, and that's to get into ketosis or fat burning.
Do you test it with the kettle sticks?
You can, but more importantly, I get on the scale every morning, and I look at not just the weight, I look at the percentage of fat and the percentage of water.
The scale tells you that?
Absolutely. And
I got a scale like that too.
Yeah.
We got that
How does
last
that
year. We
happen?
started-
How do you-
okay, it's very simple. It's fancy name. It's a galvanic skin response. It sends an electrical impulse through your body. You don't feel it, but then it measures all the important things. Besides BMI, it measures your body fat,
Do you have that? It
your
does
body water. It measures your visceral fat. That's the fat that surrounds your organs and squishes everything and forces your metabolic
Where do you
age
get
up.
it? At Bath and Beyond?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called the Body Composition Analysis Scale.
Body
Yeah.
composition.
It's pretty inexpensive.
Yeah, they're not
Do you
just
sell them?
60.
I can get a hold of them, but
No, go to a
I-
store
yeah.
and get it. You don't have
No,
to
I was gonna
bug-
say,
bug
do
him
you,
for
do you
it.
sell them to your clients too? I mean,
No.
make it easy.
No,
for
I
them.
give them a website. They can get it from Amazon. It's only $69. It gets delivered
Yes,
right to the house.
it's
Pretty
cheap.
reasonable.
It's
Yeah.
very inexpensive,
And if you got Prime, you
but
get free
it goes
shipping.
right to your phone, so you can see the numbers. And I tell everybody, don't look at the daily water and fat that's going to change like the weather. Look at on a 4-day interval. I speak to them every 7 days, personally on the phone. They text me every single morning, so I know what they're doing, and I have the ability to tweak the program because it is a customized.
Okay, so
individual
and
program.
that's what I want to get into is the program. How does the program work? So I'm coming to you, right? And I want to lose weight. And oh, by the way, an update. We had a hypnotist
Oh
on the
boy,
show
you're
a
the
few
topic
weeks
of
ago,
conversation.
right? So we had a hypnotist on, and one of the things I said, he did cigarettes, and I don't smoke. I said, I have this problem with bread. When we go out, they put the basket of bread in front of me, right? And I can't stop eating. I just can't do it. So he did, a thing with me on the show about bread. And I can tell you this. Have I had bread? Yes. But when I was away at the conference a couple of weeks ago, we went out to dinner at a couple of restaurants. They put the bread in front of me, didn't touch it.
You were the
Did not
topic
touch
of
it.
conversation at, you don't go to WOW, right? Okay. What you should.
So I
tell
was
me
the topic
about.
of conversation at WOW?
So it's
WOW
the
is
end
a
of the
networking
day,
thing.
and
Okay.
people was saying the event. I'm sorry, the Zoom meeting is almost over, and everyone's complimenting this. I spoke to this one and that one, and he writes me a note in chat. He says, "Is it okay if I mention to everybody that your partner Darren is really not eating bread anymore?" So I said, "Well, what's it worth to you to get that over?"
So you're always hitting
So
them with a fee.
now this is 2 weeks in a row
Right.
that he says, so he's using you.
He's using, well, that's
So I
fine.
would
That's,
should send him an
that's fine.
invoice.
You know what? I tell you what, look, he's helping me, so I'm not,
This is
that
a
was,
great place for
that
you.
was my downfall was bread. Right. And it was like, even to the point where like every Sunday I went and got bagels, and there's only 2 of us in the house, and I go get a dozen bagels, so I'd have them all week, and I don't do that anymore. I don't do any of that stuff. So we
That's so true.
yeah, but you get caught up in that. So, okay, I'm coming to you, right? I want to lose like 15 pounds, say,
Okay.
all right? I am, I don't want to say, I do work out 4 to 5 times a week, sometimes 6, all right? Various exercises and things like that.
It used
So
to
I'm
be
fairly
chewing
Right.
the bread
You know.
that he was
I used to
working
be
on.
chewing it.
Lifting
That was my
the-
workout. Now I lift weights and I run.
Yeah, now he's,
All right?
So do you
So
see how many calories you burn when you do that?
I don't really pay attention to that,
Because typically on my program, a man's going to burn about 7,000 calories a day of his own fat.
Okay, so how do you? Okay, so
That's
okay.
sick.
Now I come to you, right? I want to lose about 15 pounds. You said it's a 40-day program.
Correct.
And you said before that when you first did it, the first time you did it. So if you are someone who really needs to, you were over 300 pounds, so you probably came down well over 100 and plus pounds.
130 pounds.
130 pounds total. So you had to do this multiple times.
Correct. I still do.
So why only 40 days?
Well, there's a lot of things about the program that have to do with the Bible. There's a lot of things in the Bible that happened in the 40 days. It's called the transformational period.
It's just a guy named Jesus that
Exactly.
they do that.
Jesus.
You may not
it
know
was
who
Moses.
He is.
Exactly. So,
He had
so it takes 40 days.
on the yacht.
It takes 40 days to retrain patterns in the brain. So that's what we're doing is we're retraining a pattern. So that's why it's a 40-day program. It's
Okay.
it has a lot to do with the Bible as well.
Right.
What we do is we retrain the pattern of several different things, burn fat, and the simplistic way we eat on our program.
Mm-hmm.
So now when I know if I want to go out and have bread, I'll eat simplistically like we do in the program, and I'll be able to get into fat burning prior to having my premeditated indulgence, what I call it.
Okay.
But simplistically.
So I know we went out last night, and I know I had bread last night. So what did I do in the morning? I had a protein in the morning. The day before, I just ate really, really clean.
So simplistically, and you bring up Jesus,
I didn't. But
beans and grains and whatever were there at that time. Now, those are all carbs.
it's the pattern training for 40 days. That's
You think Jesus had class?
Well, look, he walked the desert for 40 days and 40 nights.
there you go.
Exactly.
Right. So, and he did his own cleansing during that time.
That's true.
All right.
That's true.
So it's, and I understand that. Okay. It's really retraining your body
Correct.
to act differently.
By the way, that was Moses on the ark for 40 days
No,
and 40
Moses
nights.
wasn't on the ark. That was Noah, you knucklehead.
Oh, that's right. It was Noah. Another Jew.
Another Jew.
So,
Oh man, see what I got to deal with, Todd. It's like,
It's not easy being him.
It's not easy being me, dealing with this. So anyway, so getting back to what we're talking about. So for 40 days, you come up with this program. You meet with me. I'm assuming you weigh me.
Well, okay.
So how's it go? What do you do?
In-depth questionnaire that the gentleman that designed it, who's up in Pittsburgh, who's brilliant, he designed an in-depth questionnaire that we ask, and then we put it into what's called the intelligence.
Right.
And it actually comes out with a list of preferred, neutral, and cautionary and limited foods. It's really incredible the way it knows from just the questions it asks. What foods?
is it proprietary for each person?
In
other words,
the system is proprietary. Yes, everybody.
So I come to you and he comes to you. We're both going to get the same program.
You'll get the same program, but not necessarily eating the same protein, vegetables, and fruit.
Okay. Because that was a big business question. I was going to say
Yeah.
after the first one, then
Everybody is different. That's what I love about this is that
Yeah, because you see a lot.
customize and individualize.
You see a lot of these diets, right? And like the one I was on last year was basically everybody did exactly the same thing. Didn't matter what your body type was like or whatever, or what you're, prone to liking and not liking. And because I already know that if I stop eating certain things, I'm going to lose weight.
Mhm.
I already know it. And I know it going in. So I know, okay, if I curb this, I curb that, I'm going to lose some weight. And if I do this or I do that, I should lose some weight. But with that said, his body reacts differently than mine,
Correct.
right? Which reacts differently from yours,
Correct.
right? So what you're saying is based on the questions I answer and how I answer those questions, it's going to tell you what to recommend to me
Exactly.
to do it. So now you recommend a diet plan to me. Is it because some of these diets are very complicated, and you being a chef, you like to cook, you like to do this. Me, I want nothing to do with cooking. Okay? I want nothing to do with it.
but you got a significant other that can.
I got a significant other that does. And she's a trained chef. So, but with that said, I'm the type though, if I was on my own to do it, more than likely, I'm the type, and I always say this, I live to eat. I eat to live. I don't live to eat. Okay. That's,
I live to eat. So,
yeah. So, and
I fly to eat too.
Right.
Which we'll talk about later.
Well, we'll talk about later, right? So, and yeah, Todd's getting his flying.
Yeah, I heard you
that's
two
nice to
mumbling
say.
about that.
We're mumbling. We were talking pretty loud about it. We weren't mumbling. Anyway, so like to me, I eat because I have to, not because I want to. So how hard is it when you come up with the program? Is it something where, okay, I got to go out and get special foods and I got to do this or I got to do that? And how hard is it for me to maintain what I'm doing?
It's great because the foods that you eat on my program are the same foods you eat off the program. Typically, they're the same foods that you're eating now. It's the combination of them.
Ask him his favorite meal.
What's your favorite meal?
What meal were you guys talking about right before we went on the air? Cheeseburger.
Okay.
I am a cheeseburger guy. I love cheeseburgers. My favorite cheeseburger
His
place.
birthday meal is a cheeseburger.
Well, yeah. So
Can you do it in a lettuce wrap? Because that's what I do it
without the bread, right? So that's my challenge.
Bingo.
Is okay. How do you get it without the bread?
Listen, I was 300 pounds because I was doing lettuce wraps.
Yes.
So I know the restaurants. Robin, Red Robin, you can definitely get a lettuce wrap.
Right.
Any decent burger place, you can ask for a
But see,
lettuce wrap.
I was told as a child that anything that was green is no good. So like when I took the bread out of the fridge, and if it was green, I was told not to eat it. It was no good. So anything green to me is no good. So
this is a big vegetable program.
No, that's
You need the vegetables.
so it's a
There are
combination
carbs in
of
vegetables.
so it's a combination of everything.
Yes,
So it's not like, and you talked about it, you guys went out for cheeseburgers the other night.
correct.
So to me, I'm listening to that going, hey, wait a second.
And
I
French
can
fries.
still go out and I can still
Isn't that
eat.
fantastic?
I can still, because you get someone on some of these programs, you can't eat this anymore and you can't eat that anymore.
Not true.
Listen,
This program isn't about can't. This program is about learning how your individual metabolism works. It takes me a few days of watching how you're doing on a daily basis to modify every program. So I can tell you, you want to go out and have that cheeseburger or that pasta or whatever, I teach you and give you the tools to understand what you do leading up to that day and what you have to do after that day. So you can have it. It's just not every single day. You got to learn how to really live the lifestyle of moderation.
so it's a lifestyle of combination of moderation and modifying your habits
And having
the way that you
having
do
the
things.
indulgence when you want.
Mhm.
Not every day. I don't eat the ice cream every day anymore.
I wish you could.
I don't know, once or twice a month.
Do you have dietetic ice cream,
I eat
sugar-free ice
nothing
cream?
dietetic. I eat nothing
None of that
sugar-free. Yeah,
could cause
anything
other
that's
chemicals.
dietetic, sugar-free, right.
Well, it's got other chemicals in it.
Right. If it has chemicals in it, why would you eat it? I just
Well,
don't.
yeah.
Everything I eat is wholesome. and good.
TCBY.
It's not bad. It's yogurt. It's it's okay.
It's all chemicals. Why? We didn't know that either because we like that. And then we took a look and really what's in it.
Right.
I don't know if there's even milk in it.
Did you take it to a laboratory and have it tested?
Sort of.
Sort of.
There's one good frozen yogurt. It's pinkberry.
Pinkberry.
Oh yeah, she likes that. My wife likes that a lot. You see that in the malls.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's real milk.
But I love TCBY. TCBY is great.
There's a company like what they do for other big chains is they send their recipes to the company. They actually make the recipe, but they put a chemical in it to make you addicted to it.
Right.
And that's what I don't do, because I like cooking my own foods. I know what's in my food. When I go to a restaurant, I know the restaurants. I know what kind of food I get from the restaurant. And it's just fast food. I won't eat fast foods.
Okay, so Todd, what we're going to do, we're going to take a quick break.
Okay.
And when we come back, right, we're going to get into designing a program and the step-by-step, what you do and how you do it over that 40-day period to help people like me and people like Norm to get through it.
And then we're going to talk about some of the percentages of different topics that you brought in here. And
Yes.
we're going to open up the telephone lines and hopefully we'll get some phone calls.
All right.
Great.
Okay.
All right, guys.
All right, we'll be right back right after these messages.
Awesome.
Well, get out of that bed, wash your face and hands. Get out of that bed, wash your face and hands. Well, you get in that kitchen next enough with the pots and pans. The way you wear those dresses, the sun comes shining through. The way you wear those dresses, the sun comes shining through. I can't believe my eyes.
Coming on the Business Power Hour gives you something that you don't normally get with your typical advertising on the internet.
Or in the newspaper.
Right.
None of that stuff.
You get thousands of viewers who see the show every week, not only locally, but nationally and internationally.
For a very nominal fee. Actually, we did it and we broke it down. It will actually cost you 0.75 cents per view that you get. That's it. All right, so if you're interested in being a guest on the Business Power Hour with Darren and the Music Man, please give me a call at 631-698-9696 or email me at norman@friendentusa.com or call Darren at...
You can call me at 844-987-CBMS. That was 844-987-CBMS, or email me at Darren@bphdmm.com.
I think I'm going to get in touch with you also.
Yeah.
I am, to make sure that you get here on time.
Oh, okay.
Next
Yeah.
time. All right?
It's the first time ever I've been late.
Pachera aquata, also known as the money tree, is a tree that flourishes in the tropical rainforest. Unlike other trees, it depends on 5 separate trunks to prosper, each one bringing its own share of water and nutrients to the leaves. Like the money tree, your business has many different trunks that need your attention. Sales, marketing, finance, operations, and culture. Fail to cultivate any one of these and the whole tree collapses. I understand this better than anyone else, which is why I developed My Prosperity Tree, a program designed to address all of these areas, not just one or two. We help you identify who you are as a company, define your direction, and assist with developing the systems that will enable you to scale your business the most efficient and effective way, allowing your company to bloom into your own prosperity tree. So plant your tree today by visiting myprosperitytree.com or call us at 844-987-CBMS. That's 844-987-2267.
And welcome back to the Business Power Hour with Darren and the Music Man and our guest, Mr. Todd November. Even though it's October, he's here in, his last name is November, and he has a special program, let's use the word dietary program. And he's been explaining it to us, for those of you that just tuned in. And now we're going to take it to a step further, but we're going to open up the telephone lines. And the number to call is 631-619-7500. That's 631-619-7500. And if you have some questions, or if you've been on the program and you'd like to give some nice accolades to Mr. Todd November and his program, Eat Well, Sleep Well, we're here for that.
Or if you just want to call and say hi, we'll be more than happy to.
Or you want to
do
buy
that too.
tickets to one of my shows.
Buy tickets to one of your- You always hockey.
Just give me a call.
You always got to get that
You
in.
gotta, you know, that's what it is, right? Otherwise, we wouldn't be sitting here
Right,
tonight.
this is true. This is
Yes.
true, right? Okay. So, we were talking about different programs and how much you lose and all that other stuff. I want to talk about this information that you gave us, which is basically the obesity rates
Alarming.
per state, okay,
In the country.
in the country. And number one being New Hampshire at 29.9% of the population is obese. What does obese mean? What does that mean to be obese? Because I'm 5'8". I'm just a little under 200 pounds. And when I went to the doctor last time, they ran tests and they said, you're obese.
Mhm.
I don't think I look obese.
Well,
Right.
they judge it based upon your body fat.
Okay.
It's got to be,
But they don't take your body fat. They don't.
no, but they can look at, different factors. You got on the scale and they look at your weight versus your height, and that's the government standard.
Right.
What I gave you is from the CDC is essentially what they feel is obese in America, and it's an epidemic.
Is there a reason why, for argument's sake, a state like Alabama has a 39% ratio, and Colorado is 24.2? It's obviously, you're going to say it's what they eat.
Correct.
Or is it one has a lot of fried foods, one does a lot of barbecue, What would be the reason for that?
It's obviously, it's not knowing the proper nutrition. Maybe Colorado is more of a, Mediterranean or West Coast diet versus a, Southern diet. It's, again, it's.
But it's a general eating. In other words, it's
without
not,
doubt.
Colorado is not a Mediterranean state.
No, but there's a lot of health people.
Well, there
I
are
guess
health people in every state, right?
There are, but I guess it's more prevalent there than it is in the
Well,
southern.
you're in New York, which is really has, what was it, 26.4 or something?
26.3% of New Yorkers are obese.
Right,
And we
Right.
eat like crazy,
right.
but we're not at 39%.
No.
And there are farmers in Alabama. There aren't too many farmers here in Manhattan,
No.
Yeah, but if you look at the rest of New York State, there's, New York State, and this is what people miss, right? The majority of the population in New York State is in a very small area of the state,
Correct.
right? That's New York City,
That's it,
Long
Rockland.
Island, Westchester, Rockland County. That's where the majority of the population is, probably about 20, almost 20 million people, right? If you think about it. Where the rest of the New York State, maybe there's 5 million people, 6 million people total. And the size of the state compared to this little area is huge.
Mhm.
And you know this as a pilot, you've flown up that way,
Yes, I have.
right? Lots of land, lots of mountains, lots of, open areas. It's actually beautiful when you're flying over it.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
All right. And it's so when you say, okay, well, we don't have a lot of farmers. We do. If you go upstate, there's tons of farms up there. And there's tons of different things going on. But that's beside the point.
Now, you mentioned Mediterranean diet, for argument's sake.
Mhm.
Now, if I had to pick any state in a country that would have a Mediterranean diet, it would be California,
Correct.
right? They're at 36.2%.
I
mean, I know that it's just crazy.
Yeah, I do this for the statistics of,
Right.
how everybody is or where everybody is. I walk into a room with a lot of people and I'll kind of guess how many people there are and kind of figure out how many of them are overweight, and it's usually over half the people in the room.
Yeah.
It's an epidemic. It really is. And people have to really understand
So
that you're in control of this.
how
can
do
be in
you
control.
know if you're, because a lot of people, almost everybody, they have a different perception of how they look than how they really look.
Mhm.
Right? You walk in, you could size somebody up and say, he's overweight, or he's really overweight and he's not. How do you tell somebody who thinks they're not overweight that, hey, you know what, you need to lose a few pounds?
Well, I first of all, I never say that. They let them come to me and ask me.
You don't say, hey, you fat bastard, you got to lose some weight.
No, that could cause,
I'll give you a discount.
that could cause some issues.
You take your card.
That could cause, although I know somebody who's done that.
I'm sure. I'm
But-
sure.
But no, I'm a
Fantastic.
little more, I'm a little more diplomatic. I'll, let them know about my journey. I'll explain how I, how
Okay,
I came
so
across
let's
it.
talk about your journey for a second. Darren walks in to your office, makes an appointment. I make an appointment. We coincidentally walk in together. We don't know each other, whatever. And now you're explaining to us why he should be on your program and I should be on the program. What are you telling us?
Well, I don't have an office. I do everything virtual.
Well,
So
whatever.
I actually, it's the scale. I get you to go on the scale, and if I have to meet you in person, I carry a scale with me literally. It downloads all the information to my computer, and I look based upon your internal numbers, whether you're a good candidate or not. Some people aren't a good candidate. Some people just,
What
they're-
makes them a good, I mean, if they're
their body,
overweight,
if their body fat is above like 20%, if they're
you can't help them.
Oh, I can help.
Oh,
them. If it's
okay.
under 20%, they don't.
So
need
then
it.
they're a good
Fat.
candidate.
But this is a program that burns fat. So if they have no body fat, it's not going to work.
So
for them.
basically what you're telling me is that anything over 20% is basically not good.
Correct.
So
And I'm seeing people that are in the 30s and 40s% body fat,
right.
which is
So how do you measure body fat?
scale does. I mean, as I said, it's a galvanic skin response that
There used to be that thing you put on your arm and you would pinch your
that
skin.
that is one of the ways. But again, it's the scale basically tells
And it's that
me
good, the scale?
yeah, it tells me a story.
So, and that's the thing, right? When I was, growing up and I was in high school and college, I lifted a lot of weights and things like that. So my body fat was always very, it was never really a lot, right?
Right.
And I was very muscular. And, when I graduated college, I was 185 pounds, but had like no body fat.
Fighting weight.
Fighting weight, right? Yeah, fighting weight. And, as I got older, obviously, didn't work out like I used to, things like that. My body weight really didn't fluctuate too much. Yeah, I gained 10 pounds, I gained 15 pounds. I was up to, COVID, I was up to 200, almost 215 pounds. When I started the diet, I was right around 210. So I got down to 180, which everybody was telling me, are you okay? Is there something wrong with you?
Those are good words.
Right? Because they would say I look sickly.
You look thin.
I look-
Going, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, again, I don't know if your program measures that, but I measure body fat and body water and all the other numbers. And I talk to my clients on a weekly basis to make sure that numbers are going in the right direction.
Okay, so let's talk about that for a second, because I really need to understand this. And I'm doing this, I love learning about this stuff. What is good and bad? Because the diet that I was on was, no, just do this, eat these meals every day, do
They
it
told
this
you
way.
what to do.
They told me what to do, and then weigh yourself. And then there was never any body fat. There was never any, hydration or anything like that. We drank a gallon of water a day. That was a minimum. You had to drink at least that. I still do. I still
Good.
drink a gallon of water a day. But there was never any of this measurement stuff. So how, if I'm getting on the scale and it's telling me my body fat and all that other stuff, how do I know what's good and what's not?
We want to see your body fat on a downward trend. We want to see your body water on an upward trend.
Okay.
That determines that you're in fat burning or ketosis. And then the spread, the degree of fat burning is your fat's going to go down a lot quicker than your water goes up.
Right.
You should be, a guy should be like well over 60% hydration. Most men are not.
Not right.
How do you test your hydration?
If the scale does.
That scale does
Yep,
that too?
Yep. And then we hydrate you at a cellular level. We all have about 28 trillion cells.
Who is the manufacturer of this scale?
There's several. There's one is Tanita. The other is UMI.
UMI?
UMI. It's called the Body Composition Analysis Scale. BMI scale. Or BCA scale.
Okay.
And that's important because you want to look at these numbers on a weekly basis to make sure that they're going in the right direction. And obviously it's not what you eat, but when you eat it. That's the important factor. That's what we do, is we train the body by having the proper foods at the proper time.
Right. See, and that's the thing, that the diet that I was on was basically, it's the same foods all day long, and they never said, okay, only have this type of food in the morning and this. No, here you go. Here are your foods. You had
It's no thinking.
six
There's no
meals a
thinking.
day, right? The only thing you had was just, you had a regular dinner, with no breads, no.
So it's interesting you said it, because they did a study with, I think it was 2,000 people that are all diabetics.
Mhm.
1,000 of them ate 3 meals a day. The other 1,000 ate 6 meals a day.
Mhm.
The people that ate the 3 meals a day, they had to lower their insulin. The people that ate the 6 meals a day had to raise their insulin.
Right.
So it's preferred for 3 meals.
Okay.
That's preferred. It's, again, the meals that you're eating without
Which
anything like.
I would prefer that, right? I prefer, because like I said before,
In my program, you're cooking your own foods.
Okay.
There's no prepackaged foods. You're just having a protein and a vegetable, and then you're having a fruit as a snack.
Now, why are you allowed to have fruit?
Because you need the glycemic index from fruit to help the body. Or
Because in the
pancreas.
original Atkins, there was no fruit.
Correct. But then again, they didn't measure fat in Atkins, and they didn't measure
No,
hydration.
fat was a good thing.
Well,
at that time.
yeah, but they didn't measure the amount of fat. They measured from the keto sticks whether you were in ketosis or not.
Correct.
But again, the body, the developer of our program, he's done this for over 40 years. The body needs sugar or glycemic index from food. It needs a natural sugar, not the artificial sugar that you get.
I was so nuts with that diet. I used to take the keto stick 4 times a day.
Yeah.
Just to stay.
Just
It
to
was
see how you
crazy.
were doing.
Yeah,
and
well,
stuff like
actually, you're only supposed to do it first thing in the morning and
Yeah,
midstream.
that. So, Todd, if somebody wanted to get more information about your program and get in touch with you, how can they do that?
2 ways. You can go to eatwellsleepwell.com or you can call me direct 800-212-2612.
All right, excellent.
Tell us about some recipes.
For instance, I love shrimp and I love bell peppers.
Mhm.
Bell peppers happens to be what they say a cruciferous vegetable or a hormone disruptor. So I match the two together, and I usually use a spicy salsa, or I'll do clams and in a white broth with angel hair pasta. But the pasta is made from heart's palm.
With hearts of palm.
Hearts
So
of
you
palm.
gotta buy a special pasta.
Yeah,
But I don't like fish. I like fish. I don't like fish. What's my other choices besides
have
chicken and beef? That's it.
chicken, beef, turkey. You won't eat any shrimp or any shellfish?
Oh, I do, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
for argument's sake.
I have a lot of people that don't like fish.
Right.
They do well.
And they're allergic to shellfish or
I have a lot
whatever.
of people that are allergic to shellfish, but it's whitefish on my program. Flounder, halibut, cod. Typically cod and halibut are very white, meaty fishes. They're not fishy tasting.
What about salmon?
Salmon is a great fish, but not on the program because it's a very high omega fatty 3. That's one of the fishes that we add when we're done with the program.
Yeah, because I only say that because you see salmon everywhere you go that serves fish. Salmon is
It's
always on the
It's a
menu.
phenomenal fish, but
Right.
because
I
of
love salmon.
it's high in fatty in omega 3s, we deprive the body of oils for 40 days. That's the key. Is there are no oils for 40 days so that the hypothalamus, master gland in the brain, focuses strictly on the visceral fat for its consumption.
Okay,
of
so the
calories.
40 days are now over, right? I meet my goals, I get my weight off, it's 40 days over. You say, congratulations, you've completed the program. Good luck and goodbye.
No way, because we have 45 more days of re-entry into the life.
Okay,
So you're with me
So
for
you're
80
breaking down your body
You're
for
with me
40
for
days.
85 days.
so it's kind of like boot camp, where you break them down, and then now you're starting to build them up,
Well, I'm not breaking them down. I'm correcting eating habits.
right?
I'm maintaining fat burning so that you then feel the benefits from it. The weight loss becomes a side effect. The health benefits, more energy, better sleep. All those are the side effects of my program, which I say side effects because they're all positive.
After 85 days, do you throw a party and cook?
No, my customers that I worked with 9 years ago still contact me. So I typically talk to my customers once a month or every 2 months that have finished the program.
Yeah, that's
If they
good.
they don't want to speak, that's fine. I
Is
let
there a maintenance program?
there is. It's a maintenance. You're on your own on maintenance. But I give you all the tools in the first 40 days and the second 45 as to how to maintain, because that's what the second 45 does is you get back into real life.
Okay, so on the first 40, because this was my experience last year, was the first 30 days, I wasn't allowed to work out.
There's a reason. On my
Okay.
program, you can work out. I don't really like cardio,
Mhm.
although I had 2 different clients work out really heavily and they did very well. He didn't lose as much as what usually men do when they don't work out. But because you're doing cardio, you're actually taking the effect of fat burning away. So it's only a 40-day that I don't really want you to do cardio.
Okay.
If you are working out, body in motion stays in motion. I just want you to not raise your pulse rate more than 20
So
beats
basically, I
over
can
rest.
continue to lift weights,
Yeah,
but just don't do the
Yeah, but
cardio.
that's not cardio.
well,
Right.
you do start to raise your pulse rate on lifting weights. I tell you not to go crazy.
Right.
You want to stay toned. You want to, do weights. That's fine.
Yeah, exactly. Just
Easy.
and that's
Take it
basically what I
easy.
do now. It's more of a
No spin
maintenance
class,
thing.
no treadmill.
Right.
Walk. Body, as I said, body in motion stays in motion.
Right.
That's the first question somebody asks me is, can I exercise?
Yeah.
And I
Because-
usually ask them, are you exercising now? And they go, no. So I go, what are you asking for? But problem to that.
And I'm asking because I've always been somebody that exercised to some extent.
No problem.
Right?
You can exercise. I just ask you to watch your heart rate. So
Don't go
you-
crazy. Like one of the things that I do, I have a bad lower back, so I don't run, okay, because it always hurts my
Mhm,
back when I
mhm.
run. I don't do, the other machines. I row because row actually stretches me
it.
out and does that, but it gets very, cardio.
Well, do
With the row.
you wear a well, you can row, but you're not going to be rowing like crazy. I
Right.
don't want you to break a sweat, and I don't want you to raise your pulse rate
Right.
more than 20 beats.
I gotcha.
So,
So I
I
can
ask you to
row
wear a
nicely.
heart monitor.
Right.
Just monitor that.
Okay.
It's all, as I said, you just have to limit it for 40 days. Just give me.
Well, I
40
can walk. I'll go walk. I'll go for a walk
Awesome.
instead of doing the rowing for the 40 days. I'll
Awesome.
walk.
That's great.
Right. And do that. So yeah, absolutely. So
He
yeah.
just bought a house with 20 acres.
I didn't. He tells people this. You know what he used to tell people too? The house I sold, right? We talked about this beforehand. She knows exactly what a house
it's
is.
so true.
Yeah, right. So go ahead, tell him what my house looked like before.
I can't tell what the house looked like.
No,
but I can say.
you were at my house.
Yeah,
what did you tell
but
everybody?
That was
my
very
house was?
garish.
It was very garish.
So, but he had horses and a Ferrari in the back with a track, and he would take the Ferrari to the stable because the stable was pretty far back, and he just sold it. But he went down south and he's got a yacht now. So he
Yeah, this
Well, he
is what he tells people on the show. So.
yeah.
And believe it or not, people believe this because I go to
Sure.
networking events and they ask me how are the horses.
When you listen to the media, all right, and people stop believing in media, or they're in networking groups that he goes to. People actually go and say to him, "What kind of horses do you have?"
Yeah. So now, and this is one thing that people always ask is your program affordable?
I don't put a price on health.
Okay.
It's a great question.
It's because that's one of the things people always say is, well, can I afford to do it? Can I?
You can't afford not to do it.
And that's one of the things
If
I
you're
always say.
overweight, if you're on medicine, if you're on medication,
And
if you have
nothing's
all your
worked.
co-pays to your doctors, you really can't afford not to. I mean, I go to my cardiologist once a year and he throws me out. He says, I'm a boring patient. Because I came off for 3 meds. I came off for blood pressure, heart, and a cholesterol med. And, so he says, let's see what happens. This is my first program. Let's see what happens in a year. Well, I
Right.
lost another 30 pounds. I came back 81 pounds lighter. And he looks at me and he says, just keep on doing what you're doing. And he continues to do that, now. And
Right.
he'll go through a battery of tests and call me up and says, just
Yeah, because as we get older, every time we go, it seems like they're hooking us up and all these other things. And one of the things is, and actually time is starting to run out. So I want to get to this exactly what you
What the
just
heck is
picked
that?
up is
that a
people
piece of fat?
people don't realize how much 5 pounds of fat is.
it's just 5 pounds.
That's 5 pounds of fat. So could you imagine?
Do you
You know-
remember the Oprah show years ago when she
Yeah,
lost
right.
165 pounds
Yeah.
and she put all the fat, went to a butcher,
Right.
got 165 pounds of fat and rolled it out on a wagon.
Yep.
I lost,
That's just 5
I lost
pounds.
81 pounds of fat. That's why I'm cold all the time.
I lost 115 pounds of fat.
It's important. It's, listen, again, this country is the fattest, sickest country in the world. We got the worst diet in the world because of all the TV commercials. Eat this, eat that. No, it's just.
Well, I think part of it is convenience, right? Everything is so convenient. I give you a great example. There are like tomorrow, I will be going into Nassau County. I have client meetings, I got networking meetings, I got everything else. I will be on the run tomorrow. And what I used to do, now I bring food with me.
Awesome.
What I used to do is I would leave my morning meeting. I go and see a client in the morning, and as I would leave, there was a McDonald's right there. Stop at McDonald's, drive through, grab a double cheeseburger meal, eat that as I was driving to the next appointment. I don't do that.
And after you left
No.
your next appointment, did you stop
Yeah,
and do
I think
anything?
there are
No.
good sustainable, food sources.
Mhm.
Panera Bread's great.
Right.
Do you give any seminars or lectures?
I have in the past. I mean, again, because of COVID.
Oh, you can
I went
Zoom
all
it,
virtual.
especially if people call your office instead of going to an office. Do you have anything coming up that people can tune into?
I was going to do a cooking event, but it didn't work out with that person yet. We're trying to do something. Again, I was in a different area and I moved back here, and I'm now coming into this area. I have a large contingent following in the Lancaster,
Well, basically-
Prussia area.
But basically, you're doing it virtually.
Yes.
So anybody
And-
from across the country
Yes,
or even around the world can contact you.
exactly.
Right.
So that's how I'm doing it, and it's going great now.
Okay. So in what the one thing that COVID taught us was you can do any type of business without having to be in front of people
Right.
anymore.
And we're
And touching.
living proof.
And we're living
We did
proof.
it all through COVID.
Yeah, we actually did this show through COVID,
He
Every
was
one
in
of our
his
guests
house,
was
I was in
virtual.
my house.
and our
And
guests
we
were in
got it
their
done.
houses, and we did that way. So one more time, Todd, because our time is at the end there.
Bingo.
How can people get a hold of you?
Personally, you can call me 800-212-2612 or reach out on my website for a free consultation. It's eatwellsleepwell.com.
All right, great. Todd, I want to thank you. It was very educational talking to you
It was
tonight.
Great to
fun.
be
I
here.
had a great time. I hope you had a great
I
time.
did.
And
And we thank you for being
we
here.
thank you for being there.
Don't go away. You're gonna stay just where you are,
Thank
Right.
and we're gonna be back to you. Thank you so much
All
for
right,
being
you.
here.
Thank you,
very
Todd.
much.
What a great guest, huh?
Yeah.
I
What
tell
can
you
I
what,
bring them in?
You can. But now you got to get on the program.
Are we over? Oh,
You know,
oh.
you got to get on the program.
I'm gonna be 73. I don't need programs anymore. I'm living
Well,
for
he's
my next
66.
meal.
He's in his 60s. I'm in
Oh,
my 50s.
God bless him.
We got to take care of each other. You know, we got to take care of ourselves. So.
Speaking of which, I went to the doctor today. We won't discuss why I went to the doctor, but let's
Okay.
say that I went to the doctor today.
All
So
right.
what do you got planned? What's coming up?
I got, we're just chugging along. You know, Friday is another IRS deadline, and
Oh,
we're well ahead of schedule, so we're doing good with that. But other than that, nah, man, I'm planning for Halloween. You didn't ask me what I was gonna wear.
oh yeah, I didn't care.
I
Okay,
know you
what
don't
do
care. I'm not gonna tell you now.
What do you got? Okay, so I'll tell you.
But we're gonna do a Halloween show.
We are.
Yeah, so you gotta wear a costume now.
All right, I'll come up with something.
You gotta come up with something.
I was in a network meeting and I meet this young lady,
Mhm.
and she asked me what I do. We have another one-on-one,
Right.
and within an hour, she had like 8 or 9 people contacting me
Okay.
about the concerts
Well, good.
and what I do. One lady in particular
Mhm.
was from Kenya.
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 You're gonna do a concert
We-
in Kenya?
We've had 6 conversations so far.
Wow.
She has a charity in Kenya that you've heard these stories about men marrying children
Yes.
and whatever, and
Yeah.
this is what she's trying to
To
stop.
stop. Right.
So we've had this conversation. She looked at my website. She picked some guests, artists that she may like to have.
Mhm.
And I said, okay, before you go any further, I want to have a board meeting. I don't want to just be you and your associate.
Right.
Now, the associate is in Colorado. There's no way I'm going to Kenya. I'm not taking a chance getting sick, but I will certainly go to Colorado. So I thought that was really pretty cool. So we have she's setting up a board meeting for next week or the week after, and we're going to see how
I
that
have
goes.
I have a satellite office in Colorado now.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's where Samantha is. Samantha's out in Colorado.
Oh, that's right.
So, yeah.
I can get her to do some
So
advertising.
we got.
Pay the young lady.
There
Okay,
you
well,
go.
That's really good. So that's it. So that's what we got.
You know what I forgot to mention, and I apologize. It's October is Cancer Awareness Month, as you know, and this Sunday is the Jones Beach Cancer
Oh,
Walk,
right.
right? And as you know, every year we go down there and we help and stuff like that. So
But why do you help? What do you belong to?
we belong
That
to.
helps.
I belong to the Civil Air Patrol, which is the official auxiliary of the United States Air Force, and we go down and we patrol the boardwalk and make sure anybody who needs help or assistance or anything like that, we're there for you. We will be there again, bright and early Sunday morning, and they're walking again this year. Last year it was weird because they did a drive-through. And it was, you came with your car and you drove through.
This year's supposed to be nice.
This year they're walking a boardwalk.
Yeah.
It's going to be beautiful out. It's going to be a great time.
It's a great cause.
If you can get down there, please do support the cause. You know, and because I think everybody's been touched by that disease, unfortunately.
Absolutely.
So, all right. Other than that,
All right, remember to eat well and stay well.
that's right.
And
Eat
if you
well,
have any doubts, you call Todd November and you tell them that the Business Power Hour sent you.
and we'll see everybody next week.
Special
Right
guest
here.
next week.
Special guest. We got special guests next week.
Mhm.
We do.
Mhm.
All right. All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night. Have a nice weekend.